Hello everyone and welcome to Terra Invicta, a space strategy game that is currently in early access but is planning for a full release soon. I got it pretty close to its initial release in 2022, and when I played it I concluded that it was going a little bit too slow for me given the amount of time I have every day to play things. So I wasn't able to make too much use of it. I had tried it out, but now they've added a new mode. This is the 2070 scenario. So one starts you in 2022, and then it's a little bit slow because you are going through basically geopolitics and not getting to the space stuff necessarily, and you're hunting aliens. That's the thing. This is a space strategy game where you're having to deal with aliens. So if you're not into the alien thing, this might not be great for you. But I'm fine with aliens personally. Well, they might not be fine with me, but I don't know the nature of the aliens. I assume they're hostile. But now we have this 2070 scenario, which will have us in space already. And so that makes a big difference. And I want to see in this video what the situation is in 2070. I'm not committing to play it yet. I'm just gonna see how they think 2070 is gonna look like. So we have a near future scenario with lunar and Martian colonies, small fleets, and many nations annexed to regional blocks. Now I'm trying to create my own future history, and of course that covers 2070 and beyond. So I want to compare what I have to what they have. That's the basic idea. We have many different factions. I'll stick to the Resistance. Sounds good to me. And I note that they have the long campaign, which will take more than 100 hours to complete, but also this accelerated campaign, which I might have to try out. Let me just go with that this time. But I'm not gonna play through it. I'm just looking at the situation and presenting the situation. But I think I'll have to give this one a go and see how it works out. But maybe starting far in the future is good enough for me. In other words, we're already in space, so that's the part I want to focus on. Maybe I don't need it accelerated then. Okay, Humanity First Fleet detected. Surveillance telescopes have detected a new Humanity First Fleet, and probably will detect quite a lot of fleets here. There's a UFO crashdown site, but if so, I don't know if the 2070 scenario starts out right at the beginning of encountering aliens, or we have encountered aliens for a while. Maybe we're just at the beginning of encountering aliens even though we have all these ships, I'm not sure. So we have some faction assets there as the Resistance, Initiative Fleet, Protectorate Fleet. Okay, alien ship detected, UFO crash on Earth.
Greetings, Commander.
It's not great to have all these messages like this.
New leader of our organization. I am Fiona Iwade, your Chief of Staff. While most of the world is reacting with fascination at the arrival of an alien species on Earth, we represent a small group who believes the aliens' crash landing and disappearance may signify a potential threat. We intend to build an international organization capable of investigating and, if necessary, combating any danger aliens may pose.
Okay, send a counselor to investigate the crash site in La Paz. Okay, so there it is. GDP 666 billion. Is that in 2070 or right now? I don't know. Okay, have a counselor conduct. So if enemies are planning. Okay, well.
Investigating alien site.
Ready to go.
Alright, so that's fine. This counselor, a spy. What kind of counselor was that? Inspector, that's fine. Okay. So, which countries are ours, I guess? We're still sort of like this. It said that we were in regional blocks, but I'm not too sure which the regional blocks are. European Union is a thing, United Kingdom. But Scotland is part of the European Union here. So is Northern Ireland. Wales, though, you're part of the United Kingdom. I mean, they said regional blocks, so I'm not entirely sure what the regional blocks are, because we still have countries. There is a confederation down here. Egypt is still Egypt. There's an East African Federation and a South African Federation. There's a South American Union. Mexico is just Mexico. Canada is just Canada. Okay, zooming out. Luna. Let's take a look at Luna. We have Piri Base, which is... well, it has 3 modules, but okay. Project Exodus Base. There's a Humanity First Base, Academy Base, Resistance Base is actually Tranquility Base. That's where Apollo 11 landed. So we've got a interesting spot, though resource-wise not a prime spot. The prime spot's the South Pole, and apparently that's... oh no, initiative base is at Shackleton. So actually that initiative has the prime spot. But when it comes to these bases, they have modules. It seems to have 4 people there. Is that what that means? Or 3 units, or is it 3 people? I don't know what that number entails. Probably just units. But we don't know how big a unit is. There's some open spots though. And there's Gateway Station. And that's the Academy that has Gateway Station. This is what Gateway Station looks like. Medium lunar orbit, they say. It's pretty big. Space dock looks like that, which is interesting. Oh, there's a whole list of HABs. Oh, here we've got a count of people. So we have Endeavour Station in low Earth orbit. Looks like that. That has 45 people, I guess. I guess that's what that means. So, judging from these numbers, their estimates are not too different from mine for 2070. Mine's are probably a little bit lower. They've got some Apollo audio going. Definitely. That's definitely Apollo audio that they're using, which everybody seems to claim on YouTube now. Everybody seems to try and claim the Apollo audio. That irritates the heck out of me. But anyway. Protectorate Station. The stations mostly look the same. Nothing innovative there. I wonder how big you can make stations. Tier 1 Max 3. Arcadia Planitia Base Outpost. So is that still an orbital station or not? They seem to have some resources. I wish when you hovered over these icons, it would tell you what they are. 21 at various Mars bases, each. Utopia Planitia. Olympus Mons would not be a good place necessarily to have a base, but okay. What you would expect is at least a Valles Marinera space. They've got one on Deimos and one on Phobos. That makes sense. So our Tranquility base has 18 people. Here it shows the full population. Mare Imbrium. And so all the bases are either around Earth, around Moon, or around Mars. Or on Mars. So, oh, there is 433 arrows. so 1 asteroid. So that's our setup right now. Nothing further than that in 2070. So this is fairly reasonable, I think. Fairly reasonable sort of estimate for 2070. Could be optimistic if you think like that. It could be pessimistic if you think like that. It's basically a middle ground sort of deal. Let me just take a look at Jupiter. Where are the aliens? There's something over here. There's a fleet there. Well, that's a little bit more optimistic. If there's a fleet there, they're gonna get fried from radiation, but it doesn't say whose fleet, so maybe it's an alien fleet, and then maybe they just like radiation. They've got Lagrange points as well. I don't know exactly how the astrodynamics works around here. Let's see about fleets. So we have one fleet, this Romeo 1. And it is in Earth orbit. Can I send it to Mars? Transfer. Launch this fleet towards the selected object, station, or fleet. Okay. So let's say I wanted to go to, not Eros, Mars. Let's go to Mars. Let's say low Mars orbit. Okay, the fleet has insufficient delta V to reach the selected destination. So where do I see the speed a rocket must attain to reach a low stable orbit? The delta V of ships constructed on the surface of this body must meet or exceed this. Kilometers per second, that's what KPS is. So, okay. And we have 4.1, which would be enough to transfer to Mars but not capture. So we've got 4.1 there. That's only enough to go to the moon. So, in theory, none of these will work. It shouldn't be the same for all of them, but anyway. Lagrange points have different requirements. Low lunar orbit. Well, we should have just enough. That's to launch off the surface, that number. But here it says 4.1 to get there and capture, which is right. But a high lunar orbit should have less. You can capture into a high lunar orbit with less than that. But anyway. And Gateway, of course, famously, you can get there with less than that. That's sort of the point. Well, I want to send them. Whatever. Sure. Transfer, high lunar orbit. And then it shows June 11th. That's pretty slow. It would probably arrive faster than that, but okay. Normal transfer, if you're doing that, is about 4 days, 5 days. Not 11 days. So they've got these things. It's certainly the best game of its type, because there isn't a whole lot of realistic sort of space games. Let's take a look at what the ships look like. Romeo 1, or that's a unit. We've got 3 different classes: a corvette, escort, or gunship. So this is what they thought the ship would look like. I mean, radiators make sense, obviously. There could be a variety of different kinds of guns or propulsion modules. There's another one. It's got a claw in front. It's an escort. Don't know why you have a claw and then these things on the side, but okay. Missile bays. And this is a gunship. They have these triangular modules, and that's sort of alright, but I don't know, maybe they should not be clipping into the cylindrical modules. Like they should be a separate bit. Yeah, the thing is, it's sort of not clear how these are put together, because bits that I expect would be separate bits are smushed in with bits that probably would be launched separately. When you take a look at something that's this shape, probably it was not all sent in one piece. Otherwise, it would be just a cylinder. It's fine to send things in many different pieces, but then the question is how those will be assembled. It's interesting that this graphic has the radiators sort of looking very different than they are here. There's a propellant cost, combat acceleration, a turn rate, and altogether this is 7,400 tons. This was 7,069 tons, and this is 8,974 tons. Now, given that wet mass, I don't know how much of that is fuel. In other words, we've got 6,000 tons of something. And the presumption is that would be fuel. If that's fuel, this is getting horrible efficiency. So hopefully, like that 5,900 tons between its dry mass and wet mass is not just fuel, it's something else, because it being just fuel, it's worse than a normal chemical engine. To get, well, I mean, this one is the limiting one, 4.1 kilometers per second. I don't know why it's got a 5.2 here, because again, I haven't played through the game, and I'd have to figure that out. These have better, 6.7, and this one's 7.6, so these two could go to Mars. This one can't. It's got some armor, and the battery's in gigajoules. Heatsink capacity is 0, which doesn't seem good. It's got 10-inch cannon and a 6-inch battery. And by battery, in this case, it's not the same as this battery. Power plant's a fuel cell, which seems unlikely. And that begs the question, where's the nuclear reactor? You know, shouldn't it have a nuclear reactor? And where would you put it? I mean, you'd probably put it really far in the back. So these ships should probably be longer. And there's no way they're operating off of a fuel cell. Not with them trying to have any sort of weapons. If they have a cannon, they should probably use a railgun for it, maybe. So that would take power. So interesting choices. We've got a ship designer here. So if we wanted to put something together, drives, power plants, radiators, utility modules. So we have drives here. Solid rocket. Oh dear. Well, lots of thrust, which you don't need in space usually. Exhaust, it's got the exhaust velocity. So 2.6 kilometers per second is the efficiency. And that's about right for a solid rocket motor. So on the ships, did they say, they didn't say what the exhaust velocity is for these engines. Did they tell me what kind of engine it has? It says super heavy rocket. They all have Diana super heavy rockets. Let's see, what's the Diana super heavy rocket? Nerva's there. Diana super heavy rocket is Methalox. Almost certainly. With an exhaust velocity like that, it's Methalox. So that's why we're not getting the efficiency we should. We should be using Hydrolox at least. They have a mysterious Nova liquid one that says hydrogen fuel. But it gets much more than hydrogen normally would. It would normally get 4.6, let's say, 4.6 kilometers per second. So it's overdoing it a little bit. This one is more hydrogen, mixes with oxygen. So this is not mixed with oxygen, but we don't know how it actually works then. Because we have Nerva here. Nerva is a fission drive, that's fine. It's got hydrogen and it's got the right amount of efficiency. Pretty weak thrust, but that's about right for the amount of megawatts. You've got the reactor built in, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. Open cycle cooling, so we shoot it out through the propellant. So of course we would want a Nerva. That's in the back there. No? Okay, there we go. We got one. Let's have some more. And then it changes the back here. Okay. It doesn't seem to... Okay, we've got a limit to... Oh, that's the number of drives and this number of tanks. It doesn't show the tanks. The tanks each provide 100 tons of propellant to the ship's drive. Now, eventually... And that is increasing my wet mass. But we should see it, because that takes up a lot of space. Look at all the delta V we get just by using Nerva. It doesn't seem to... It does have a construction cost. Let's see, we've got some gold, let's say, being used. That's 3.6. Let's say I use this one. It increases these little bars here when I increase the engines, but that's it. Oh, that's interesting. So when I use this one and I add more engines, it increases this number of bars required. Okay, but when I put Nerva in and I increase how many we have, it doesn't change the construction cost at all. We can have 6 of them, or we have 1 of them. That doesn't change the construction cost, and adding more doesn't change the delta V. Crew of 3, by the way. But we do need to worry about the power plant, which is here is separate, so we need fission reactors. Come on. And that's the thing. If I reduce this, now it changes how much it costs. Because it's adding the fission reactors based on how many engines we have. So that's how it works. Okay, then we have a radiator section. Let's go with titanium. We really don't have too much of a choice how we build the ship beyond the drive and possibly the weapons. So we have various heat sinks. Let's have water. Stat. Well, I have water heat sink. It says it has 100 gigajoule capacity, but it didn't read it here. Module can explode if it takes damage. Water? Well, I guess in some situations, pressure. Well, let's have this. Oh, I guess I can't have that one. Obsolete. Nose weapons. Well, I'll take the 10-inch cannon then. Armor. Silicon carbide armor, boron carbide armor, composite armor. Both they all have different costs per ton. Let's just go with titanium. Well, I guess we have to put it per area. So we're at 10.7 kilometers per second. And wow, the armor really cuts it down real fast. Can we have more propellant tanks? We can have more propellant tanks. But now it's getting real expensive to make this. So that's how it all works. It's very detailed, let's face it. You could spend an hour just configuring your ship. So it's definitely detailed. I fear it is still too formidable for me to devote my time. Oh no. Because I mean, yeah. I wonder what goes in this slot. Utility modules. Okay, so we have other utility modules. Liquid hydrogen containment. I sure hope so for this. Well, it gives us a bonus to our Delta V. Yeah, well, you can auto-design it. Well, I guess I can't. Automatically assign a role, that's one thing. If I say Explorer, now I can auto-design. Oh, but then it beeps at me. Maybe if I clear it, then click auto-design? Nope. Escort. No. Okay, it doesn't like auto-designing it. As a transport, if I click this and have it automatically assign a role, then it'll auto-design it. And then like I can't click this anymore and I can't get a different automatic one. And then you'll eventually have the design here, and then you can build a space dock or larger hab facility capable of assembling spacecraft. And apparently I don't have one, or not entirely sure. But that is the situation it envisions for 2070. Explorer craft, I wonder how well they work out. That's theoretically what we would have initially for scientific purposes. And I don't know where the aliens are. These are our various planetary or dwarf planet bodies. Quite a collection. Chernobog. That sounds like it's like the bog around Chernobyl or something. Probably not hospitable. Where's Pluto? They demoted Pluto. Pluto's like that. Alright. Any aliens? But this has just been a matter of my curiosity here. Pluto's got so many moons. Still not getting any respect. To take off from the surface of Pluto, you could actually use this as a reference for some things, potentially. The Delta V's are probably not wrong here. So to take off from the surface of Pluto, 1,200 meters per second. Trying to get there, though, I think these being already on their way, maybe I can't assign them. Let's see. Let me cancel the active operation and try to transfer to Pluto. How much does it cost? Select thrust profile to low Earth orbit. It's not really giving me a option to Pluto. Maybe it's just an "are you kidding me" sort of situation. Yeah, let's not talk about lifting off from the surface of Neptune. It's just not giving me an option because I guess we already left low Earth orbit and we're already en route to the moon, and now it doesn't accept that we can go to Pluto or Neptune or something. So, alright, fine. So, that's just a quick look at the new situation in Terra Invicta, where we can start in 2070. We have ships, we have all this business. We still have a very complicated Earth, and these people we have to assign to manipulate things on Earth potentially. These folks, these counselors. We can recruit more of them. Yep, this is a complicated game, right up there with all the other strategy games. Maybe even more complicated than Europa Universalis or something like that. Maybe. At least you don't have to design ships there. But that's the fun part though. I do want to design the ships, but I'm just saying. It's a little bit more complicated because of that. Alright. So, with this look, I'll say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time.